Good afternoon and welcome to the countdown. It's turned out to be a remarkable intraday recovery from the day's low. The kind of participation that you're seeing, and a bulk of that 80,000 crore turnover may be concentrated on just these three stocks. Let's see if this positive momentum on the Nifty sustains. We got just about 50 minutes or so to go for trade. Shruti is there in the studios as well as always. Good afternoon to you, Shruti.
Very good afternoon to Rahul. You're right about that positive tick coming in on the Nifty, up by just about 2 points, but don't be fooled by the kind of flat trade that you're seeing on the frontline indices right now. Up by about 5% in trade on the index, clawed our way above 5,000, looking at 5,010. Joined on this leg of the show by Varun Goel from KC Securities. Varun, afternoon to you. Seems like all wells with the world when the Nifty is above 5,000, but you think the index is going to be able to manage to hold on to these levels?
Good afternoon. I think the markets have run up quite significantly since the lows of March this year. We are almost up almost 100% from those levels. If you look at valuations, we are trading close to 15 times FY11 earnings, even if we were to take a bullish case scenario. So I really don't think that there is a lot of upside left in the market from these levels. The global markets also seem to be a little volatile of late. We have seen the data that has come out from US is kind of mixed. And I think the real catalyst for this rally, the global equity market rally to continue from these levels, would be the end consumer demand reviving in US. And we are still not sure whether that demand is actually reviving or what we are seeing is just inventory restocking cycle. And I think obviously from a domestic market perspective, we have the Q2 earnings coming up. So I think the Q2 earnings will really have to deliver for markets to sustain at these levels.
Meanwhile, since we're on the subject of IT and focusing on Infosys coming up later this week, HCL Technologies is another stock that should be bought up, down about 5% at about 318. Lots of pressure coming in on that stock. MTNL is down about 5%. You heard Shell talk about it while he was giving you his dealing room update that it's a call brokers are giving to their clients to avoid. The stock is down about 5% or close to about 5 rupees as well. And we kick-started earnings season for the mid-cap space today. Prism Cements, the stock that came out with its numbers a little earlier today, stock still down about 6.5%. It's recovered from the day's low of 48, holding about 51, but a 6.5% knock that's coming in on Prism Cements as well. It's a mixed day for some of these airline stocks. While Jet is up about 5%, Kingfisher is down about 4%. So there's no real decisive move coming out. And the leather stocks that have been the occasional flavor of the market over the last month or so. Today you're seeing movements coming into Liberty Shoes once again up about 7.5%. Fairly respectable volumes that are coming in. Bata is flat, but Liberty has actually gone up and done reasonably well for itself. We're virtually at yesterday's close on the Nifty at this point, still in ascendancy of about 24 points on the Sensex. Varun, what kind of levels are you working with? Come 31st October when result season wears down, where do you think this index realistically could be if earnings season turns out as per expectations?
As I said, I don't think there is a significant upside left in markets from these levels. I think probably we'll go around another 5-10%, but even that will be difficult to sustain if earnings disappoint. My sense is that Q3 is when the earnings will really start improving, and that is when you will see a lot of upgrades coming in. But I think till that point of time, we'll likely to move more or less in line with global cues.
Varun, this is a question I've been asking throughout the day, but really there seems to be no conclusive theory about the sell-off on telecom stocks. What prompted it? Is it just the tariff war? Is it a delay in the 3G auction? And where is it likely to stop? I mean, this is the second consecutive day of selling that we've seen on your frontline telecom counters. Are they likely to stop bleeding today? Would you get in at these levels?
No, I think there are genuine reasons for the stocks to get derated. The competition in the sector has been rapidly increasing for the last few years. Of course, the new schemes that have been launched by Tata in the sense of per second billing and then unlimited talk time for one particular call, those kind of schemes are definitely going to put a lot of pressure on ARPU levels and overall profitability of the sector as a whole. Then you had a statement coming from the regulator yesterday that a per second billing could become mandatory going forward. So that is definitely going to have a significant impact on earnings of all these companies. So yes, there is a case of derating. Now, having said that, yes, good solid companies with a decent level of growth at a particular valuations will become attractive. I'm not sure if we are still there, still at those levels. But yes, companies which are good, known for the good corporate governance and growth, will get looked at decent valuations.
Meanwhile, very interesting moves that are coming in on the markets. From what Sunil Savani was saying a little earlier, 5,000 calls have added about 8 lakh shares. 5,000 puts have actually shed about 8 lakh shares, which would lead you to believe, optically at least, that the market should not be trading at over 5,000 kind of levels, because while the calls at 5,000 have added 25% in open interest positions. The puts have actually shed 28% of their open interest positions, and the most dominant put continues to remain 4,700, which is about 300 points lower from where we are. So very interesting moves. It's been a very confusing market. The high to the low for the Nifty has been close to about 110 points or thereabouts, and even for the Sensex, it's been a very wide range that we have traded from 16,622 to about close to 17,000, so virtually about a 400-point range. Varun, just coming back to telecom, would you advise a buy into any of the frontliners, Bharti, Relcom or Idea? You said de-rating. We've seen the PEs come down by anywhere between 3 to 5 times on the frontline counters. We spoke to Reliance Communications earlier today as well. Anything that you would advise a buy-in from these 3 counters?
I think, Rahul, it is more to do about the earnings rather than the multiples. Yes, of course, the multiples seem to have come down, but what we are still not sure is that what level the earnings will stabilize. At this point of time, all the analysts seem to be working at certain level of earnings for FY10 and FY11, and specifically earnings for FY11 could be under threat. So one has to wait for some time and judge the impact of these kind of schemes and competitive pressures before one is able to take a final call on the earnings.
Right now, though, the pressure is tremendous. Bharti Airtel is the biggest loser on the index, continues to do so, 11.5% down on the stock. Reliance Communications not too far behind, 10.5% down on that stock, and then Idea Cellular 10% down on that counter. Even MTNL, like you saw on your screens just a little while earlier, taking a 5% beating in trade today. So telecom stocks being heavily shorted. Right now on the index, looking at 5,007, slipping into a very short break. As we do so, get you some more market opinion that we gathered throughout the day.
You're still with the countdown at 5030 on the Nifty. Varun Goel, fund manager at KC Securities, is still with us. Varun, it's been a fantastic day for the FMCG stocks. Lever's up by about 6% to 282. ITC's gone up by about 3%, 3.5 to about 247. What are you telling clients on these two?
Well, I think clearly market players want to move into sectors which are considered to be defensive in nature. So I think that is one reason for renewed interest in FMCG and pharmaceutical stocks. Another reason is that the earnings momentum still continue to be there for FMCG stocks, and I think going forward also people are expecting earnings to surprise positively in that space. So considering both these reasons, I think the sector should continue to do well in the near future also.
Varun, since Rahul brought up stocks that are doing well in trade this afternoon, let me bring in the metals pack. Hindalco is currently the biggest gainer on the index. It's up 6% in trade. Not a bad session for Sterlite, Tata Steel either. They're both up about 3% for themselves. What's the definitive call on metals going forward, both ferrous as well as non-ferrous?
I think we are very cautious on the whole metal space. The reason why the whole metal pack underwent this huge re-rating in the last 6 months was because there was a lot of demand coming in from China. There was an inventory rebuilding which was happening there. Now I think last 1 month or so there has been some clampdown on speculative activity by Chinese government. So there seems to be some constraint and some petering down of activity from that market. And globally also, if you look at the kind of demand revival that people were expecting from the developed part of the world hasn't really come in. So I think looking at the kind of upsides that we have already seen in the metal space, we will be very cautious on the sector.
Good speaking with you as always, Varun. Thanks so much for taking time out and stopping by our studios. Varun Goel there with his thoughts on the markets. The other piece of news that we need to focus.
That's about what we have time for on the show. Leave you with the adjusted closing on the Nifty at 5,027. On the Sensex, we made a dash towards 17,000 but didn't quite make it, 16,958. With that, time for me to wind down the show. Thanks so much for watching.